So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil.
Well, it looks like Gene Deal was right. Word is Diddy had a private tunnel hidden inside his mansion, and now leaked CCTV footage is making the internet lose its mind. Fans think it was uncovered during the FBI raid, and now the big questions are flying. What was Diddy hiding down there? Who else was involved? And how deep does this really go? Let's get into the footage, the theories, and the fallout. The raids. Let's start with the moment everything changed. March 25th, 2024. That's when federal agents rolled up on two of Diddy's most luxurious properties. On that day, Homeland Security Investigations agents, backed by tactical teams, executed court-authorized searches at Diddy's mansion in the Holmby Hills neighborhood of Los Angeles and his waterfront residence on Star Island in Miami. These weren't just routine checks. We're talking armed agents, tactical vehicles, the whole nine. The operations drew massive media attention, with helicopters circling overhead capturing footage of agents carrying boxes of evidence from the property. According to sources close to the investigation, Diddy wasn't present at either location during the raids. He was reportedly in Miami preparing for a trip to the Bahamas when agents seized his phones and other electronic devices. So what exactly were the feds after? While authorities didn't immediately reveal the full scope of their investigation, court documents and subsequent reporting painted a much clearer and darker picture. Perhaps the most headline-grabbing discovery was what court documents referred to as freak-off supplies. This term allegedly encompassed a stash of narcotics, including ketamine and ecstasy, along with more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. The strange combination of items fueled a wave of online speculation and conspiracy theories. Diddy's bodyguard even revealed the baby oils are not just baby oils.
They gotta test every last one of them. Let's see how much, let's see how many of those come back to be baby oil. So my whole thing about it is that there was something in that other than baby oil.
Was there more to these mansions than met the eye? Were there secret rooms built for privacy, hidden chambers insulated from surveillance and scrutiny? In the days that followed, social media and search engines lit up with questions. Phrases like Diddy Mansion secrets and hidden areas in celebrity homes surged in popularity as the public tried to piece together a picture of what might have been unfolding behind closed doors. The mystery only deepened, feeding a frenzy that continues to swirl around the high-profile investigation. The discovery of these materials fueled intense speculation about what might have been happening inside Diddy's properties. Were there hidden areas designed for privacy, special rooms away from prying eyes, underground spaces where cameras couldn't reach? The internet erupted with theories, and searches for terms like Diddy Mansion secrets and hidden areas in celebrity homes skyrocketed in the days following the raids. What made these raids even more significant was their connection to Cassie Ventura's lawsuit filed in November 2023. In that explosive legal filing, Ventura accused Diddy of years of physical abuse and forcing her into sexual acts with others during their relationship. Although Diddy settled with Cassie shortly after she filed reportedly for millions, her allegations opened the floodgates, spurring additional lawsuits from other accusers with claims of gang rape and drug-facilitated assault. To understand the full significance of these raids, we need to take a step back and look at who Sean Diddy Combs really is. This isn't just any celebrity we're talking about. Diddy is one of the most influential figures in the music industry for the past 3 decades. He founded Bad Boy Records in 1993, launching the careers of artists like Notorious Big, Mary J. Blige, and Usher. He's won 3 Grammy Awards and built a business empire estimated to be worth around $740 million, encompassing music, fashion with his Sean John brand, Kyrock Vodka, and various media ventures. But Diddy's history hasn't been without controversy. Back in 1999, he faced legal trouble following a nightclub shooting in New York, though he was ultimately acquitted of all charges. In 2023, he was involved in a business dispute with his former clothing brand, Sean John. However, the allegations that triggered the 2024 raids represent by far the most serious legal threat he's ever faced. Despite the intensity of the raids, Diddy wasn't arrested at that time. His attorney, Aaron Dyer, issued a forceful statement condemning the operations. Yesterday, there was a gross overuse of military-level force as search warrants were executed at Mr. Combs' residences. This unprecedented ambush is nothing more than a witch hunt based on meritless accusations made in civil lawsuits. There has been no finding of criminal or civil liability. Dyer emphasized that Diddy had cooperated with authorities and that no criminal or civil liability had been established as of March 2024. However, legal experts suggested that the seizures and scope of the raids indicated indicated federal prosecutors were building a substantial case. What wasn't immediately clear to the public was just how extensive Diddy's properties were and what might be hidden within them. His $50 million Miami mansion on Star Island spans 19,000 square feet with waterfront views and exceptional privacy. The Los Angeles property in Holmby Hills is even more impressive, a 17,000 square foot European-style villa with 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, a movie theater, wine cellar, pool, underwater tunnel to the grotto, and sprawling grounds providing the ultimate seclusion. As details about these properties emerged, social media exploded with speculation about what the layout of these mansions might conceal. Were there special rooms not on the blueprints, areas designed for maximum privacy, underground facilities that wouldn't be visible from above? The speculation reached fever pitch when internet sleuths began analyzing architectural plans and aerial photos, looking for discrepancies that might suggest hidden spaces. Many celebrities have homes with unusual features, from Madonna's panic room to Bill Gates' trampoline room to John Travolta's private airport. So the idea that a music mogul worth hundreds of millions might have unique private spaces in his homes isn't far-fetched. The question became, what might federal agents have discovered during those raids that wasn't in the public record? One particularly interesting aspect of Diddy's properties that drew attention was the underwater tunnel connecting to the grotto at his Los Angeles mansion. While underwater passages to grottos are not uncommon in ultra-luxury homes, Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion famously had one, they inevitably raise questions about privacy and what activities might take place in such secluded areas. The design of Diddy's home seems to emphasize privacy and seclusion, features that initially seemed like standard celebrity preferences for avoiding paparazzi, but took on new significance in light of the allegations. As speculation continued to swirl around what the federal agents might have discovered during their searches, attention turned to the pivotal lawsuit from Cassie Ventura that had seemingly triggered the cascade of events leading to the raids. Ventura's lawsuit, filed in November 2023, contained disturbing allegations spanning her decade-long relationship with Diddy from 2007 to 2018. The lawsuit painted a harrowing picture of control and abuse, alleging that Combs controlled all aspects of Ventura's personal and professional life, subjected her to savage beatings where he would punch, drag, kick, and stomp on her, forced her to engage in acts with male workers while he masturbated and recorded the encounters, supplied her with drugs to keep her compliant, and blew up Kid Cudi's car after learning Ventura had dated him. The lawsuit further alleged that in 2018, Combs forced his way into Ventura's home and raped her. Throughout their relationship, the lawsuit claimed, Diddy leveraged his power and influence in the music industry to keep Ventura under his control and prevent her from speaking out. Perhaps most relevantly to the federal investigation, the lawsuit described how Diddy allegedly maintained surveillance over Ventura and others, using both technological means and his network of industry connections to monitor their movements and communication. This aspect of control, the surveillance, would later take on new significance when actual surveillance footage emerged. For months, the mystery deepened, as details from the raids remained sealed in court documents. But all of that changed dramatically when, in May 2024, CNN released authentic surveillance footage that would forever change public perception of Diddy and add a whole new dimension to the federal investigation. This footage wasn't from any underground area of his mansions, but from a hotel hallway, and what it showed was absolutely shocking. The footage that changed everything. In May 2024, CNN exclusively obtained and released surveillance footage from March 5, 2016, showing Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting his then-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hotel hallway. This disturbing video captures a violent incident that took place at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles, and its release sent shockwaves throughout the entertainment industry and beyond. The footage shows exactly what happened that night, and it's hard to watch.
Sean Combs appears to run after her before carrying out a violent assault. The full tape shows her being kicked as she lies on the ground after taking her items. Next, the rapper seems to be seen throwing an object towards her.
The video captures Diddy chasing Cassie down the hallway as she tries to leave, grabbing her by the neck, throwing her to the floor, kicking her multiple times while she's on the ground not moving, dragging her by her sweatshirt and throwing what looks like a vase at her. These actions match precisely with what Ventura described in her November 2023 lawsuit, where she alleged that Diddy punched her, giving her a black eye, and then followed her into the hallway, screamed at her, and threw glass vases as she tried to escape. The lawsuit also claimed that Diddy paid the hotel $50,000 for the security footage, a detail that raised questions about how many other incidents might have been captured on camera and potentially bought off to maintain secrecy. The release of this footage 8 years after the incident occurred raised serious questions. Where had this video been all this time? Who had possession of it? Were there other recordings from Diddy's properties, hotels, or other locations that might show additional incidents? And most importantly, how did CNN obtain it after all these years? While the exact chain of custody remains unclear, the footage likely likely surfaced as a result of legal proceedings or investigations tied to Ventura's lawsuit. Its release in May 2024 coincided with the intensifying federal investigation following the March raids, suggesting that authorities may have been gathering evidence from multiple sources to build their case. The reaction to the authentic footage was immediate and damning. Diddy himself posted a statement on Instagram saying his behavior is inexcusable and he takes full responsibility. He also mentioned that he had sought professional help, including therapy and rehab, following the incident. Meanwhile, Ventura's attorney Douglas H. Wigdor stated that the gut-wrenching video has only further confirmed the disturbing and predatory behavior of Mr. Combs. The public response was overwhelming, with many condemning Diddy's actions and supporting Ventura. The footage became a pivotal piece of evidence in the court of public opinion, lending significant credibility to Ventura's allegations and raising serious questions about what else might be hidden in Diddy's past. As this hotel surveillance footage circulated widely, it sparked intense discussions about surveillance in general, particularly regarding what other cameras might have captured over the years at Diddy's properties and events. Social media was flooded with questions. If this hotel hallway incident was captured on camera, what else might exist on security systems in his homes? Were there cameras in private areas of his properties? And if so, what might they have recorded? Interestingly, the hotel surveillance footage reinforced a key theme from Ventura's lawsuit, the issue of recording and surveillance. Her lawsuit had alleged that Diddy not only recorded her engaging in forced acts with male workers, but also maintained extensive surveillance over her throughout their relationship. This pattern of recording and monitoring seemed to be a recurring element in Diddy's behavior, raising questions about what other recordings might exist and what they might show. The revelation of this hotel footage also raised new questions about the March 2024 raids. Were federal agents specifically looking for recordings or surveillance equipment when they searched Diddy's properties? Had they received tips about potential evidence captured on camera systems? The timing of the footage's release, coming just months after the raids, suggested a possible connection between these events that had many speculating about what else might emerge. To fully understand the significance of this surveillance footage, we need to consider the broader context of Ventura's relationship with Diddy. According to her lawsuit, their relationship began in 2007 when she was just 19 years old and he was 37. Combs had signed her to his Bad Boy Records label and took control of her career, but soon their professional relationship turned romantic and, according to Ventura, abusive. The lawsuit described a pattern of behavior where Combs would allegedly become violent, particularly when intoxicated, but would then shower Ventura with gifts and apologies afterwards. This cycle of abuse and reconciliation continued for years, with Ventura claiming she felt trapped due to Combs' power in the music industry and his control over her career. One of the most disturbing allegations in the lawsuit concerned what Combs allegedly called freak-offs. These were events where Ventura claimed Combs would force her to engage in acts with male while he watched, and recorded the encounters. The lawsuit alleged that these recordings were kept by Combs and used as leverage to maintain control over Ventura. This allegation takes on new significance in light of what federal agents reportedly found during their raids on Combs' properties. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant, along with narcotics including ketamine and ecstasy. These items, described in court documents as freak-off supplies, seem to corroborate aspects of Ventura's claims about the nature of activities that may have taken place at Diddy's residences. The hotel surveillance footage also aligns with another pattern described in Ventura's lawsuit: Combs' alleged attempts to control and monitor her movements. According to the lawsuit, when Ventura would try to leave Combs or end their relationship, he would become violent and take extreme measures to prevent her from escaping his influence. The hotel hallway video shows exactly this kind of scenario: Ventura attempting to leave and Combs violently preventing her from doing so. What's particularly significant about the hotel footage is that it provides visual evidence for claims that might otherwise have been dismissed as one person's word against another's. In an era where allegations against powerful men are often met with skepticism, tangible evidence like surveillance footage can be a game changer in how cases are perceived by both the public and the legal system. As more details emerge from Ventura's lawsuit, the layout and design of Diddy's properties took on new significance in this context. His homes weren't just luxury residences, they were private domains where he allegedly exercised complete control over what happened and who knew about it. The underwater passages, secluded grottos, exclusive party spaces, and extensive security systems weren't merely celebrity extravagances, but potentially components of a system designed to facilitate privacy or activities away from public scrutiny. As the hotel footage circulated and public outrage grew, investigators continued their work behind the scenes, piecing together evidence from the raids, electronic devices, and witness testimonies. What they discovered would eventually lead to the most dramatic development yet: Diddy's arrest and indictment on federal charges. But before that happened, more women came forward with allegations against Combs, emboldened by Ventura's lawsuit and the corroborating surveillance footage. Within months of Ventura's filing, multiple additional lawsuits were filed, containing similar allegations of assault, exploitation, and coercion. These weren't isolated incidents, but suggested a pattern of behavior spanning decades. One lawsuit, filed by a woman identified only as Jane Doe, alleged that Combs and another male associate sexually assaulted her in 2003 after she was drugged. Another lawsuit claimed Combs and others gang raped a 17-year-old girl in his New York recording studio in 2003. A third lawsuit alleged that Combs coerced a woman into a relationship and then became violent when she tried to end it, a pattern strikingly similar to what was described in Ventura's lawsuit and visible in the hotel surveillance footage. These lawsuits, combined with the evidence seized during the March raids and the hotel surveillance footage, apparently provided federal investigators with enough material to build a case against Combs. And in September 2024, that case became public when Diddy was arrested and charged with serious federal crimes. Behind bars, the empire crumbles. The walls finally closed in on Sean Diddy Combs in September 2024 when federal authorities arrested him in New York. The arrest went down at the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan, with agents from Homeland Security Investigations approaching Combs, separating him from his entourage, placing him under arrest, and walking him out the front door in handcuffs. According to his lawyer, Combs had come to New York 2 weeks earlier, planning to turn himself in, but wasn't expecting agents to be waiting for him at his hotel. This dramatic arrest came after months of investigation following the March 2024 raids. The indictment against Combs included serious charges related to racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Central to the case was the 2016 video of Combs attacking Cassie Ventura, which federal prosecutors cited as powerful evidence of how dangerous the hip-hop mogul could be to women. This evidence was part of why 2 different federal judges denied him bail. The indictment revealed shocking details about what prosecutors described as a criminal enterprise led by Combs. According to the charges, Combs allegedly used his fame, power, and influence to lure victims, then employed violence, threats, and coercion to force them to participate in sexual activities for his pleasure. The prosecutors claimed that Combs's freak-offs weren't just private encounters, but organized events that sometimes lasted for days, involved multiple victims, and were often recorded, potentially creating a trove of incriminating evidence. The contrast between Diddy's previous lifestyle and his current circumstances couldn't be more stark. As one commentator noted,
the searches, which lasted into the night, were based on search warrants filed here in the Southern District of New York. The matter related to sex trafficking, drugs, and other allegations previously raised in civil lawsuits against the rapper.
Combs, who previously lived in a $50 million Miami mansion with every luxury imaginable, is now in an isolated unit of a federal jail in Brooklyn, known for its miserable conditions. The special housing unit is described as a 24-hour lockdown unit with strictly controlled movement requiring full restraints, including leg irons, handcuffs, and a belly chain, with multiple staff members escorting inmates whenever they leave their cells.
Minors were all part of an organized enterprise, with some of the activity allegedly taking place at Combs properties. Lawyers for Combs in the past have denied any wrongdoing, but have not commented since yesterday's raids. Federal prosecutors in New York have interviewed numerous women who allege wrongdoing, sources tell us, and former R&B singer and Combs.
When Combs first arrived at the jail, he was monitored for suicide, a common practice for high-profile inmates. However, his attorney has stated that Combs is not suicidal, but rather focused on defending himself against the charges. Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. As the legal proceedings continued, the scope of allegations against Diddy expanded dramatically. Texas attorney Tony Busby announced that he represents 120 new accusers in upcoming lawsuits against Combs, including cases involving minors.
We have one who is 15.
Today I spoke with Texas attorney Tony Busby, who is representing 120 new accusers in upcoming lawsuits.
You mentioned that there will be cases filed by as many as 25 different minors right now.
When asked about one particularly disturbing allegation involving a 9-year-old boy, Busby explained.
And specifically, you mentioned a 9-year-old boy. Tell us about what you know about that case.
So the allegation is going to be that a 9-year-old child was assaulted, allegedly by Sean Combs and several others.
These new allegations represent a major expansion of the case against Combs, potentially implicating others who may have been involved or who witnessed inappropriate behavior.
I think some of them will be shocking, though. People that attended the parties, that watched some of this behavior occur and stood by and let it happen.
All of this as Diddy's legal team filed an appeal hoping to reverse the judge's decision to revoke bail.
As these allegations pile up, many have wondered what investigators might have discovered during those initial raids on Diddy's properties. Were there hidden rooms where these alleged activities took place? Secret areas designed to keep certain events away from regular staff and visitors? Specialized surveillance systems that might have recorded incriminating evidence? The full inventory of items seized during the raids remains partially sealed, fueling speculation about what else might come to light as the case progresses. The expanding scope of allegations has led to increased scrutiny of celebrities who were previously associated with Diddy. It's important to note that none of the celebrity guests at this party have been accused of any wrongdoing, and Hart, like many others, has distanced himself from Diddy following the arrest and indictment. Other old clips featuring Diddy have also resurfaced and are being viewed in a completely different light given the current allegations.
You're legendary for the parties that you throw.
I'm a legend, baby, for a whole bunch of things.
Yes.
You need locks on the doors?
Okay, this is sounding kind of dangerous now.
I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year. Hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it.
These clips, featuring various celebrities discussing Diddy's parties or their experiences with him, are now being re-examined by the public with the serious allegations against him in mind. Particularly troubling is the clip where someone mentions being 13 years old while staying with Diddy, a comment that seems much more concerning in light of the recent allegations involving minors. The case has also drawn attention to Diddy's long-standing relationships with other celebrities and industry figures. One clip that's received renewed scrutiny features Justin Bieber discussing spending time with Diddy.
Justin, right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy. Where we hanging out and what we doing, we can't really disclose. I had legal guardianship of Usher when, he did his first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. And we gonna go buck full crazy.
Going crazy.
Crazy.
Diddy's mention of having legal guardianship of Usher when he was young, and then comparing it to his plans with Bieber, has raised eyebrows in light of the current allegations. Usher himself has spoken in interviews about living with Diddy as a teenager and being exposed to an adult lifestyle at a young age, comments that are now being re-examined for potential signs of inappropriate behavior. Another aspect of this case that continues to fascinate and disturb the public is the elaborate network of properties and spaces that Diddy controlled. From his mansions in Los Angeles and Miami to recording studios, hotel suites, and private event spaces, Diddy created environments where he allegedly exercised complete control over what happened and who knew about it. The architectural elements of these spaces, from the underwater passages to grottos to private rooms, weren't just luxury amenities, but potentially components of a system designed for privacy and seclusion. What might have initially seemed like standard celebrity precautions against paparazzi and fans now takes on a more sinister interpretation in light of the allegations about what activities took place in these spaces. The case also raises questions about Diddy's security personnel and staff. According to multiple lawsuits, including Ventura's, Diddy employed a team of people who allegedly facilitated and covered up his misconduct. These individuals may now be cooperating with investigators, potentially providing insider information about what went on behind closed doors at Diddy's properties and events. The legal proceedings against Diddy continue to unfold, with his trial beginning on May 5th, 2025. As of our current date, May 11th, 2025, the trial is ongoing, and while Diddy faces serious charges and numerous civil lawsuits, he has pleaded not guilty and is entitled to the presumption of innocence until proven guilty in a court of law. What's certain is that this case has forever changed how the public views Sean Diddy Combs, from the hotel surveillance footage to the federal raids on his properties to his current incarceration. The fall from grace has been dramatic and complete, and as the trial continues, many wonder what other revelations might emerge, what other evidence might have been gathered from his properties, what other recordings might exist, and what other accusers might come forward.
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul.
New footage from Diddy's infamous parties has just been released, and it is going viral for all the wrong reasons. Major A-listers like Jay-Z, Usher, Cuba Gooding Jr., Ethiopia Habtemariam, and even LeBron James are all caught up in this footage, with a massive trial looming. What does this viral footage mean? Is this the beginning of the end of Diddy? Are these big names also involved in the mix? Is the entertainment industry about to experience a major shocking event never seen before? We're about to find out. Others involved in his enterprise? The footage Entertainment mogul Sean Diddy Combs has his name all over the headlines, and don't be fooled, it's buzzing for all the wrong reasons. While his arrest and indictment have caused quite a stir, new footage has surfaced showing some of the most famous faces in the entertainment industry at Diddy's notorious parties.
That's a moment. This is a moment.
Let's be honest, the rumors about Diddy's lavish gatherings have circulated for years. They've been described as the ultimate A-list event, with a star-studded guest list, extravagant venues, and wild activities. But this new footage seems to confirm some long-held suspicions about what goes down at these events.
I've been to a couple Diddy parties. Now, I'm risking a lot by saying this. There was an artist there who said, hey, Lecrae, around 1 a.m., make sure you're not here. And I was like, what? You just don't want to be here at 1 in the morning.
What makes this footage even more concerning is that it has come out right in the middle of an ongoing sexual harassment suit against Diddy. And now eyebrows are being raised about the parties and whether the celebs involved played a role in enforcing and covering the mogul's sinister activities. Remember, the viral footage is simply part of a larger story. Diddy is currently incarcerated and facing serious charges ranging from sex trafficking to racketeering. In a sex abuse lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, a music producer who used to work for Diddy, some major heavyweights in the music industry were mentioned, and Jones' suit contains what he says are photos, videos, and screenshots corroborating his allegations.
I won't be that guy 20, 30 years from now looking back saying, I wish I'd done this. I'm gonna do this now. Doing this situation is not easy. Taking Puff to court, suing him is not easy.
One of the celebs mentioned is Ethiopia Habtemariam. For those who may not be familiar with Ethiopia, she's a powerhouse in the industry and was the former CEO of Motown Records, who has been a strong advocate for diversity in music. But to see her name come up in connection with these allegations is shocking, to say the least. Lil Rod claims she worked as part of Diddy's Inner Circle, which operated as a RICO enterprise and functioned like a criminal organization. According to his lawsuit, Habtemariam sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Diddy's home in Los Angeles, California. At these parties, sex workers and underage girls were present, and attendees were also being drugged through laced bottles of De Leon tequila and Ciroc vodka. As a sponsor who was present at these events, Habtemariam had a duty and obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present, and that Diddy was not spiking alcohol with date drugs. Yet, she took no action against the entertainment mogul. Another celebrity who was present at such events was Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod stated he was sexually assaulted by Cuba Gooding Jr. on a yacht rented by Mr. Combs in the U.S. Virgin Islands in January 2023. At the time of the assault, Diddy was said to be present and even encouraged the act. Gooding jokingly insinuated in an interview he was being pulled into things.
What do you think is going on with all the stuff with Diddy, with Little Rod, with, all the stories that everybody's hearing about?
You mean in terms of what?
I mean, being raiding his house being raided.
I mean, that's crazy. That's the craziest thing I'd ever. And then, hey, how about me? I wake up in the morning, I turn and say, short, Hector, Cuba Gooding Jr. I was like, excuse me, pull me into this.
Young Miami is another celebrity who was mentioned in the lawsuit. The City Girls rapper was said to be present at some of these parties as she was part of a group who were paid a monthly fee to work as Mr. Combs' sex workers. Lil Rod also alleged that Young Miami's female cousin, who was unnamed in the suit, sexually assaulted him at a party in 2022. Aside from the names on Lil Rod's sex abuse lawsuit making the rounds, other guest lists containing names of celebrities who were also present at these parties have been going viral. One such list included names like Beyonce, Jay-Z, Justin Bieber, Usher, Meek Mill, Rick Ross, Drake, and even famous basketball player LeBron James. All of these names have been dropped in connection with what the indictment against Diddy called freak-off parties. So what are these freak-off parties? According to reports, these were exclusive, invite-only gatherings where the partying, more times than often, crossed the line from fun to purely inappropriate. Guests were allegedly encouraged, and if we are to go by Lil Rod's lawsuit, to engage in behavior that was both unseemly and at times illegal. The parties were reportedly packed with celebrities, models, and industry insiders, all while Diddy sat at the center, orchestrating it all.
And Diddy could promise a producer, if he's in a homosexual act, that he could give him a Grammy. What kind of power, who he doing, or what he know, then he can get that done.
While there's no direct accusation that these celebrities took part in illegal activities themselves, their association with these parties has put them in the spotlight. And with Diddy's trial looming, the fact that their names are being mentioned in this context doesn't exactly help their public image. In fact, there are viral images showing celebrities like Jennifer Lopez, the late singer-actress Aaliyah, and even Jay-Z, among others, lying on a bed with a younger Diddy at his 4th of July party on July 2nd, 2000. Usher, who reportedly stayed with Diddy when he was about 13 or 14 years, gave an interview years later where he was present at Diddy's party.
I moved to New York City, and I lived with Sean Puffy Combs for a year.
That's the crazy thing. Now, that was L.A. Reid's idea, right? We're sending you over to something called Puffy Flavor Camp.
There you go.
To learn
Flavor Camp?
Yeah,
Flavor
that's
Camp.
what it was called.
He also claimed he saw pretty wild things.
No, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle.
Right.
And I saw it. And it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
LeBron James is another celebrity who found himself in the spotlight following Diddy's indictment. The basketballer was featured in a viral image where he donned a maid's outfit. The image sparked speculations that linked him to the ongoing Diddy saga. It doesn't help that both men have maintained a friendly rapport with LeBron, even saying in a live video, "Ain't no party like a Diddy party."
Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah.
You may be wondering why these megastars would attend these parties. For many, it seems that Diddy's influence and connections within the entertainment industry may have made these events impossible to avoid. Diddy, after all, is a major player in music, media, and fashion. Whether you're talking about music collaborations, business partnerships, or simply maintaining a presence in the industry, being on Diddy's good side was very important for these stars who wanted to be recognized. While there are several theories about the appearance of these celebrities at Diddy's parties, there's an even bigger theory that suggests Diddy may have used his relationship with these mega celebrities to protect himself from scrutiny. Essentially, the idea is that by surrounding himself with high-profile celebrities, Diddy created a kind of human shield, making it harder for accusations to stick to him. The logic being, if Diddy is always seen rubbing shoulders with megastars like Jay-Z, Beyonce, and even Justin Bieber or Usher, then he can't possibly be involved in something so vile and inhumane, right? With Diddy's arrest and indictment, it's becoming increasingly clear that celebrity status doesn't protect someone from the truth. And while none of these big names are directly implicated in the suit as of now, their association with these parties raises questions about what they may have known or witnessed. Were they simply innocent bystanders, or like everyone else, do you think there's more to the story? What's even more intriguing is how Diddy has managed to evade serious legal consequences for so long. Over the years, rumors and allegations have swirled, but nothing ever seemed to stick. Could it be that his celebrity connections helped keep the spotlight off of him? Or was the entertainment industry so scared of him that they simply turned a blind eye to his acts? While the answers to these questions haven't been provided, Diddy is surely facing the music. How did the almighty entertainment mogul fall so badly from grace to grass? We'll discuss that in the next section. Breakdown of Diddy's arrest and indictment. Diddy's arrest is perhaps one of the most explosive stories in the entertainment industry right now. Sean Diddy Combs is well known for his influence in not just the music industry, but also fashion and media. Unfortunately, the man with the larger-than-life personality is now behind bars facing serious charges that could have a domino effect on the entertainment industry. From the events that led to his arrest to the viral lawsuit filed by one of his former producers to a full breakdown of the charges against him, here's a breakdown detailing everything you should know.
Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul.
Diddy has always been known for his flamboyant lifestyle, iconic parties, and impact on the entertainment industry. But in recent years, rumors and accusations about his behavior have slowly crept into the spotlight. On November 16, 2023, Cassandra Ventura, also known as Cassie, filed a lawsuit that Diddy subjected her to years of abuse, including beatings and rape.
This is a civil lawsuit. This is not a criminal lawsuit. There's no chance here as we stand for Sean Combs to go to jail. It's a civil lawsuit about money.
The R&B singer, who was signed to Diddy's label in 2005 and was in an on and off relationship with him, said he was prone to uncontrollable rage, subjected her to savage beatings, forced her to have sex with other men, and even gave her drugs. Just a day after it was filed, Diddy's legal team swiftly settled Cassie's lawsuit, stating that they wanted to resolve the matter amicably. On November 23, 2023, Joy Dickerson and another woman who was not named filed lawsuits accusing Diddy of sexual abuse. The lawsuits allege acts of sexual assault, beatings, and forced drugging in the early 1990s by Diddy, who was then a talent director, party promoter, and rising figure in New York City's hip-hop community. Combs' attorneys call the allegations false. While his name continued to come up in lawsuits detailing harassment and sexual misconduct, it wasn't until the lawsuit filed by former Chicago music producer Lil Rod Jones Jr. went viral that things started to unravel for Diddy in a very public way. What really made this lawsuit go viral was the inclusion of some explosive details about Diddy's infamous parties. Lil Rod claimed that these gatherings weren't just about music and networking. They were the backdrop for illegal activities, from drug use to sexual misconduct, blackmail, and even attempted murder. Lil Rod's lawsuit stated that in August 2022, he received a call from Mr. Combs requested that he produce several songs on a rhythm and blues album titled The Love Album Off the Grid, Love Album 21. He agreed, and he claims his life has been detrimentally impacted ever since. From September 2022 to November 2023, Lil Rod produced 9 songs on Mr. Combs' Love Album and lived with Diddy for months, where he claimed he witnessed and suffered several illegal acts. Some of these activities included the acquisition, use, and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms, as well as the displaying and distribution of unregistered illegal firearms. Lil Rod's lawsuit also mentioned cases where Diddy provided laced alcoholic beverages to minors and sex workers at his homes in California, New York, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Florida. It also involved Diddy's chief of staff, Christina Corin, and how she instructed her staff to retrieve drugs so she could provide them to Mr. Combs for his consumption. The lawsuit also alleges Diddy had planned to leverage his relationship with Bishop T.D. Jakes, needs to soften the impact of Cassie Ventura's lawsuit on his public image. It also mentions how Young Miami's cousin and actor Cuba Gooding Jr. sexually assaulted Lil Rod while he worked for Diddy. The lawsuit also implicated Diddy, his son Justin Combs, in a shooting that happened at Diddy's writers and producer camp at Chalice Recording Studio in Los Angeles on September 12, 2022. The details provided in the lawsuit stated Diddy, his son Justin, and Justin's friend named G were involved in a heated conversation that moved out of the studio into a restroom that was adjacent to where Lil Rod was sitting. He claimed to be sitting approximately 2 feet away from the restroom when he heard multiple gunshots ring out. After the shooting ended, Diddy and his son left the restroom, and that was when G was discovered lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his stomach and bleeding out of his leg, hip area. No one seemed eager to help G until Lil Rod stated that he went to the injured man and immediately began placing pressure on G's gunshot wound to his stomach. By the time an ambulance finally arrived at the scene, Diddy and his son Justin had disappeared to another part of the studio, and Diddy gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the shooting. He also forced Lil Rod to lie to the police by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a drive-by assailant. As this lawsuit went viral, it gave more people the courage to speak out. More accusations followed from others who claimed to have experienced or witnessed similar misconduct. All of this culminated in an intense investigation that would eventually lead to Diddy's arrest. On March 25, 2024, Homeland Security investigations served search warrants in an early morning raid on Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
NBC News has confirmed that this is a raid being conducted by Homeland Security and that the warrant specifically came out of the Southern District of New York. Now, we believe this is tied to sex trafficking allegations.
His 2 sons, who were at his home in Los Angeles, were captured and handcuffed during the search. Just when we thought things couldn't get worse, CNN aired a video on May 17, 2024 that showed Diddy attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway in 2016. The video closely mirrored an assault described in her lawsuit, which said Diddy had already punched her that night, and she was trying to leave the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles when he woke and came after her. On May 19, 2024, Diddy posted a video on Instagram and Facebook where he publicly apologized for his assault on Cassie. It was his first real acknowledgement of wrongdoing since the recent stream of allegations began.
I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, I'm going to rehab.
On September 5th, 2024, it was revealed Diddy had checked into a Manhattan hotel in anticipation of an indictment, and on September 16th, 2024, he was eventually arrested at his hotel after a grand jury indictment. His attorney stated that his arrest didn't change anything, and he was innocent.
He's been looking forward to this day. He's been looking forward to clearing his name.
On September 17th, 2024, the indictment against the entertainment mogul was unsealed, and he was described as the head of a criminal enterprise that engaged or attempted to engage in sex trafficking, forced labor, interstate transportation for purposes of prostitution, drug offenses, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Let's take a look at the most serious charges Diddy is currently facing. The first charge Diddy faces is a racketeering conspiracy. As we know, racketeering involves using an organization to carry out illegal activities, and the prosecution alleges that Diddy's companies and events were, in essence, a front for more sinister operations. Evidently, he used his company to preserve, protect, promote, and enhance his personal desires and powers. According to the indictment, Diddy's businesses were not just about music and entertainment. Investigators believe that he used his influence in the industry to carry out illegal schemes, possibly involving money laundering and even wire fraud. Next on the indictment is a sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion charge. It alleges Diddy knowingly recruited, enticed, harbored, transported, provided, obtained, advertised, maintained, patronized, and solicited by any means a person, knowing and in reckless disregard that his actions would cause the person to engage in a commercial sex act. It was revealed that the police had discovered 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oils following a raid at the rapper's home. It was also revealed that Diddy used copious amounts of sex drugs to control his victims for long periods, with participants having to get IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion. He allegedly kept evidence of the freak-offs to use against the participants, as the court documents detail the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. The third charge is transportation to engage in prostitution. The court document states that Combs knowingly transported an individual in interstate and foreign commerce with the intent that the individual engage in prostitution. As stated earlier in the legal documents, his business ventures and staff were key in carrying out these events. If convicted of all three charges, Diddy faces 15 years to life in prison. With these hefty charges already trailing his case, many wonder what will become the music mogul. We're about to find out. What's next for Diddy? Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest names in music, is now behind bars, and the news keeps getting darker. A judge recently denied his bail appeal. Homeland Security has compared him to Jeffrey Epstein, and rumors are swirling about his mental state as he remains on suicide watch. This leads to the big question: what's next for Diddy? Let's start with the recent news about Diddy's bail appeal being denied. Diddy's legal team has been fighting tooth and nail to get him released on bail, but the judge overseeing the case had other plans. In a shocking decision, the judge refused Diddy's appeal, labeling him a flight risk. Diddy's legal team had proposed a $50 million bail package that was co-signed by Diddy, his mother, and other family members. His family members also agreed to surrender their and Diddy's passports and hoped that instead of jail, the music mogul would get home detention, a weekly drug test, and a visitor log that would be submitted to pre-trial services each night. However, Judge Andrew Carter didn't agree to the proposal, saying, "My bigger concern deals with the danger of obstruction of justice and the danger of witness tampering. That is a real concern that I have here." This decision has led to raised eyebrows and even more speculations. It's rare for someone with Diddy's celebrity status to be denied bail, but it shows just how serious the charges are and how determined the courts are to keep him in custody. Many speculate that his ongoing legal issues and connections to powerful figures in the entertainment industry played a role in this decision. It doesn't help that he was also likened to infamous sex offender and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. After a raid on Diddy's Miami home by Homeland Security, an agent involved in the operation reportedly labeled him as bad as Epstein. The agent revealed that the 54-year-old rapper had dedicated sex rooms for his alleged freak-offs, which were loaded with sex toys, bondage gear, lingerie, and hidden cameras. The agent also revealed that Diddy had the technology set up in his home so that he could observe the freak-offs from another room or on his phone with the consent of the participants. However, for the majority of the time, he was present and masturbating while the sex took place, mostly involving underage women. For those who need a refresher, Epstein was a financier and convicted sex offender who ran a global sex trafficking ring. He had deep connections to the world's elite, and his case exposed some of the darkest secrets in high society. Epstein's ability to hide his crimes for so long was largely due to his powerful connections, wealth, and influence.
Jeffrey Epstein went to jail just before 10 this morning. He pleaded guilty in open court. He agreed to serve a total of 18 months in the Palm Beach detention facility, 12 for felony solicitation of prostitutes, and an additional 6 for procuring persons under 18 for prostitution.
So why is Diddy being compared to Epstein? Their crimes follow a similar pattern that is almost hard to miss. The comparison is even more chilling when we consider that both men were known for hosting exclusive parties attended by celebrities, politicians, and business moguls. It was said that illegal and immoral acts at these parties. Want to know the weird part? The Epstein comparison doesn't end with the crimes themselves. There's a growing concern about Diddy's mental state while in custody, and it's now been confirmed that he is on suicide watch. For those who followed the Epstein case, this news immediately raises red flags, right? Epstein was also placed on suicide watch after his arrest, but as we all know, he was later found dead in his cell under suspicious circumstances. Sean Diddy Combs is currently incarcerated at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a place that's been described as hell on earth and an ongoing tragedy. This federal jail is known for rampant violence, dreadful conditions, severe staffing shortages, and the widespread smuggling of drugs and other contraband. Many believe Diddy is on suicide watch due to the harsh conditions of the jail, coupled with the seriousness of the charges against him and the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison. Others believe the suicide watch is just a hoax, and we are about to get another Epstein situation. Remember, Epstein's death left many of his victims without closure, and his connections to powerful people meant that a lot of questions about his operation were never fully answered. The fear is that if something happens to Diddy before he can stand trial, we may never learn the full extent of what he's been accused of or who else might be involved. There are others who have expressed their worries that even if Diddy doesn't take his own life, foul play could be involved if he knows too much about other powerful figures in the industry.
I don't think it's only celebrities going to be shook. He had politicians in there. He had princes in there. He also had a couple of preachers in there.
While we demand accountability, there's really no telling if justice would be served in Diddy's case with all the factors currently being brought up, especially regarding his mental health. So what's next for Diddy? Well, at this point, he remains in jail without bail, and his legal team is preparing for what's sure to be a lengthy and complex trial. All we can do now is sit back and watch how the case plays out. And with that, we've come to the end of this video on new footage of famous celebs at Diddy's parties going viral. For more eye-opening videos like this, click on the card showing on your screen and I'll be waiting.